Pringle Evans. Welcome to WomeNomics. You know what? I am so excited today. Yes, I am so excited. And you know why? It is February. It's Black History Month. And what do you think we're going to do on today's show? Of course, we are celebrating Black history and past, present, and future Black women and their many, many accomplishments. And to help me with today's show is someone who I respect, someone who is such a professional, and I do mean professional. You know, there are certain individuals that possess business acumen, who is stellar in that area. But let me tell you, Miss LaTonya Jackson, who is joining me today, that's who she is. This woman possessed, and I do mean possessed, and you'll see for yourself, business acumen. But not only business acumen, but she is a woman who cares about others. She is a woman who wants to see others grow and become the best version of themselves. And that's why I wanted my friend to be here with me today to kick off. Let's celebrate Black history. So before I bring LaTonya on the show, let me just give you her bio. And you'll understand why I said what I did about this fabulous. And you know, I don't say fabulous about women unless I truly feel that in my heart about her. And this lady is fabulous. This lady is phenomenal. And just listen to what I'm about to share. LaTonya Jackson is the founder and CEO of L. Jackson Associates, a management consulting and government contracting firm specializing in helping businesses achieve operational excellence. LJ specializes in helping businesses achieve operational excellence. I had to emphasize that so that you hear that word, excellence, excellence. LJ is a results-oriented and growth-focused strategic operations executive with nearly 30 years of combined experience in the hospitality industry, as well as corporate America, with a proven history of expanding revenue, improving operations, leading and developing large and small teams, and driving core mission and objectives of any organization. For 20 plus years, LJ has worked in the global outsourcing industry and is an associate certified outsourcing professional. Some of us didn't even know that existed. She has provided strategic outsourcing solution services to various businesses and organizations, such as higher education, investment banks, hospitals, nonprofits, luxury brands, designers, beverage and cosmetic companies, media, legal, and financial services firm. She has demonstrated the ability to drive growth and manage operations across a multitude of service lines, such as business services, office services, administrative services, hospitality, conference centers, and facilities management. LJA vision is to inspire excellence in business, inspire excellence in business. And that's what we need more of today, excellence in business, that empowers the community and create career and growth opportunities for others. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to share with you today, Ms. LaTonya Jackson. Welcome, LaTonya.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you for having me. So good to see you as always.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You know, as I said at the beginning, we're going to just have a conversation. And that's what this is. It's going to be a conversation, dialogue about Black history and what it means to you. Because for me, I want to hear throughout this month from women what this means for them. And looking at ahead, what do we want to see in the future? You know, in today, more than ever, there are discussions about Black history being taught in schools. And one of the things I would like to say is this: yes, this is Black History Month, the month that has been set aside as long as I can remember for Black history. But I also want everyone to understand Black history is a part of American history. So I think we need to start looking at, if we are the United States of America and we are united in this country with a multitude of races, it's time for us to celebrate all of American history, which includes Black history. For me, 12 months, not once, not one time out of the year. But anyway, let's get to the show. I have this question that I would like for you to share. What, for you, LaTonya, when you think of Black history, what are perhaps 3 to 5 adjectives that you would like to share that means what Black history means to you? And from those adjectives, could you elaborate a little about it?
Sure, sure. So Black History Month to me, or Black history in general, it's about honoring our triumphs, our struggles of the African American community, and really making sure that we honor the contributions that have been made to this country. We wouldn't be as great as we are if it wasn't for the enslaved people, our people. So when I think of, if I had to come up with adjectives, I would say resilient,
Yes.
because we have withstood so many things. I would say we're unbreakable.
Yes.
We have come through them, and we still keep growing and progressing, and we're making strides and leads through every type of industry or area, whether it's political, arts and entertainment, science and technology, all of these things. And then I would say undeniable. You cannot deny that we have something special, that we have contributed greatly to this country. It's undeniable. You can't, with a straight face, say that there were no contributions by any African Americans in this country.
Oh my, I love what you just shared. I feel the same way about our history. You know, when
Yes.
I look back during my childhood years, and I grew up in the South, in Georgia, during the time of the Civil Rights Movement,
Mhm.
and in the 50s, 60s. And honestly, it's as though it was yesterday. I was a little girl, but I can still remember going into town with my grandparents and seeing colored, white, colored only, white only, the restrooms and the water fountains. I remember it just like it was yesterday. And I couldn't at the time understand. And I even remember this one place where it was a restaurant. And on Friday evenings, my aunt always loved going there to get their hamburgers.
Mhm.
And when she would take me with her. And every time we went, she would enter through the back door. And I remember asking her, why do you always go in the back? Why can't you go in the front door? And she said, because we're not allowed to go in the front door. And I couldn't understand why. Why can't we? And she said, that's just the way it is. So don't you even try to take your little behind up in that front door. And I was sitting there thinking, this is not right. And even when in school, our teachers, they spent, and I did, and from the 1st through the 9th grade, it was all Blacks, total Black teachers, all Black students. And what those teachers instilled in us It resonated from home. You got it from your parents, you got it from your grandparents, you got it from your community. You got the same message everywhere we went at that time. And that was, you owe it to those who have come behind us to become the best that you can be. And you will. And they, education was pushed on us. You got to get,
it was key critical, yes.
Yes, you got to get your good education. And when you make it, you have to reach back and come back and help somebody else. And to this day, I still believe in that philosophy, that as we grow and become better, because that's what they did for us. If they had not taken the risk, and a lot of times it was risk for them, but I think when they were making decisions about moving forward, taking those risks, a lot of times they didn't see themselves receiving the benefit of that happening directly, but indirectly it was going to happen for those that were coming behind them. And for me, that's what WomeNomics is about. It's about the women who are coming behind me, ensuring that they have the tools, the knowledge, the wherewithal, so that she can be all that she has been meant to be when she was created by the Father himself, the creator of the universe. I want to see women flourish.
Yes.
I want to see women, when they reach a certain age, that they are not sitting at 65 or more, wondering, how am I going to survive? Because when you're younger, and this is what I think about, like Madam C.J. Walker, I'll use her as an example. When I think about what that lady did at the time that she did it, it's incredible. It is. But she paved the way for others, teaching and showing them about having financial freedom. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what we want to do today, is help more women experience have that economic development for financial freedom. But again, it goes back to what you just said a moment ago. We come from such a rich, and I do mean rich, history. And we are on the shoulders of giants. And now it's up to us to continue their legacies. It really is. And that's how I feel from my heart and my mind, that the time is now. It can't be like we're not going back. We can't go back. And we're not going to be complacent either. But what we are going to be is become vigilant and move forward and make certain that the change that we desire, the change that we want, we can get it done.
Absolutely. I agree. Well said.
Thank you. Well, I can go on and on about this. All you have to do is ask my husband. He'll tell you. She'll get on that soapbox and she won't get off. She'll stay on it all day. But I do have another question for you.
Yes.
Okay. Share an African-American female of the past who has inspired you, and how?
I had to think about this one. So I had to go back, because growing up, I loved Black history. I used to read, I don't know if you remember, the Golden Legacy comic books.
Yes.
And had all of like Frederick Douglass and Benjamin Banneker and all of that. And so I remember back in the day, I was always reading those, and it led me to other research. I had to do a book report as a little girl. I don't remember how old I was, but I had to do a book report. And I remember that I chose Phyllis Wheatley. It was just something about a picture of her that kind of captured, it was this little girl standing there, she's kind of looking up. And it just, I don't know, it was something about that. And I liked her because although she was a slave, she was very intelligent, very smart. And her owners at the time, because she came from West Africa, her owners at the time recognized that she, had something special. And they actually, which was unheard of back in the day, let her learn to read and write. They taught her and encouraged her to read and write. And so much so that she studied Greek and she studied poetry, and she wrote a book of
Wow.
poetry. So I think this was back in the 17 or 1800s, and she was a published poet, which was unheard of
Mhm.
for a Black woman
Yes.
back then who was a slave. And so it just kind of made me think that Black girls could do anything. I mean, here was this little girl who came to America on the slave ship. And I'm imagining like where her parents, and she's probably separated from her loved ones. And she's
Yes.
this little girl, she gets planted with this family, and they could have been brutal to her.
That's
We've
right.
seen and heard stories, but it
Yes.
seems like they really encouraged her and taught her to read and write, and she was able to be educated. So I just really, I don't know why, I just love that story. It just said Black girls can do anything. If we're given an opportunity, we can do anything.
That's so you too. That's who you are. I seriously, ever since
Yeah,
I've known you, that's what my impression, my perception of you has been. So I can see why you chose her.
yeah.
I
It was
was,
just the
yeah,
encouragement of it. She was
yes,
encouraged, and so when you pour that encouragement into someone and give them that opportunity, and you just see what they can do with it. And
yes,
I don't know, I just always just liked that story, and I just liked her. So I had to think back in the archives, who,
yes.
because there's so many people to
Oh
choose
my
from.
God.
Black, we have our, the people that we normally gravitate to, Harriet Tubman, and
Hmm.
all the other greats. I mean, and that's not
Yes,
taking anything away from them, but this little girl was someone that I always kind of, I don't know, I just always liked her story.
that's amazing. I think when I look back
Mhm,
and get strength, because
mhm,
I'm a firm believer in our ancestors, their spirits are still with us. I just
mhm.
feel that way.
Yeah.
And I have conversations with my ancestors. I talk to them when I find myself drained, as though I can't go on another day, another
Mhm.
second of the day. And I just get to a place and be quiet. And I don't want no noise around me. And I just reach out and I call upon my ancestors and I
Mhm.
ask them to help me, to give me strength, to give me the fortitude to keep moving, to keep going. And I feel it. I
Yeah.
feel them. So for me, for Black history, of course, personally, it would be my paternal grandmother who raised me,
Mhm.
Mary Pringle. Was an
Yeah.
amazing, amazing woman. Um, the things she taught me, the example she set before me. She was not educated.
Mm.
And she and my grandfather raised me from, they took possession of me when I was 3 months old. So
Mm.
basically, they were my parents, but I knew
Right.
my parents as well. But because, and I remember her saying this to me as a little girl, when I began school, she said, now I can't get in those books and help you like you need, but I'm gonna make sure you have what you need.
Right.
And I'll never forget this. She took me to Miss Amanda Jones' house, who was a school teacher at the time, and she asked her, would she tutor me if she brought me to her house every day?
Mm.
And Miss Amanda said, of course I will. And my grandmother took me to her house every day. And Miss Jones would work with me, not only about school, helping me with
Mhm.
my schoolwork, but she opened my mind to so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So I never saw little. I just never did.
Yeah.
And when I think of the power that we have
Mhm.
and how sometimes we don't use our power,
Mhm.
we feel we allow situations, challenges, others to define who we are.
Yes.
And I'm here today to say, don't let somebody else define you.
That's right.
You were meant with a purpose and to be successful. We all are
Yes.
meant to be successful. You know, you don't become successful just because you think it. Don't let somebody say, "Oh, you can think it and you can achieve it. Oh, you can think it and you can achieve it." Well,
Right.
you can think it, yes, but the outcome can be you can achieve it. But what do you do in the middle? And
You got to put that work
you
in.
got to do the work, right? So
Work.
when I think of that, the person who comes to mind of the past for me, and you said her a moment ago, she was my hero, Shiro, and that was Harriet Tubman. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, I loved her.
Yeah.
Fierce.
Mhm.
I loved her attitude, her strength,
Yes.
and get that she was carrying such a burden on herself
Right.
for the freedom of as many as she could, and to take that risk of leading them to freedom. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just think for a moment what
How
that
much, yeah, what daunting, you know,
experience.
experience it must be. And so that was my other word too, going back to your first question. It's like when I think of all of the sheroes, I think victorious and I think strength
Yes,
and
yes,
honor and all of those things, but you can't, again, undeniable strength and courage,
yes,
um, unbreakable, unstoppable. So no matter what obstacle was presented to our sheroes of the past and the present, they persevered and they pushed on no matter what was against them. So
no
it
matter
just
what.
always shows us that we can do it.
Absolutely. And another one before we move on to the next one is Rosa Parks.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I heard that story over and over and over and over as a little girl because I came shortly after that
Mhm.
and my birth. And amazing to
Yes.
have the strength, the courage
Mhm.
to say no,
Yeah. And
no,
the poise and the grace to do it with dignity.
with dignity.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No violence,
Right.
but simply stood her ground and said no. And you know what I think about when I think of Rosa saying no?
Mhm.
I think of Michelle Obama when she said, when they go low,
We go
we
high.
go high.
Exactly.
Yes, I think of that. So, oh, we could spend
We could talk
hours.
about this all day.
We could. We definitely could. My next question is, share an African American female of today who inspire you and how.
Mm.
One
Well,
today.
I have a few, but I would say, I definitely say my mom,
Hmm.
because when it comes to business and when I thought back, I'm like, where did this whole thing come from? And I had forgotten that years ago, my mom started her own company. So I come from a line of business owners. She wasn't able to keep it going, but I remember working for my mom in her company. It was a catering company and she was doing very well, but she was getting, so many orders and things in, and I guess the demand, she wasn't able to fulfill everything. But I learned from that you could, if it's something that you want to do, you can do it. And my mom has always inspired me. I tell her all the time, like, she's my biggest fan and she's been with me every step of the way on this journey to entrepreneurship. But I also have to say always been drawn to business. And the people that I follow, like Sheila Johnson and
Yes,
Janice Bryant Howroyd and
yes,
Oprah Winfrey, Melody Hobson and
yes,
Ursula Burns and Carla Harris. There's all these great, great women who are so successful in what they do, who've inspired me along the way. So those are some other people that I would say of today that are still around that still inspire me.
Yes, all of those are excellent, especially for me, Sheila Johnson.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Undeniable. As I said, undeniable. And then
yes,
you have Melody Hobson, who I've followed for a
yes,
decade. Growing up, I used to read Black Enterprise magazine, and all these women, these Ann Fudge, and all these wonderful
yes,
women were in this magazine. And I'm like, wow, I was always so inspired and
mhm,
impressed by how professional and polished and smart,
yes,
educated they were. And they were running these
yes.
companies. And I don't know, I guess deep down in my subconscious somewhere, that always stayed with me. And not that I was thinking of running a business at the time, but I always aspired to, wherever I was in a company, to move up. And so these women were always kind of that inspiration for me.
They were all stellar
Yes.
in their own rights. They are.
Yes.
They are, because they're still here with us,
They're still
and
here.
they're still here. And the only other one that I would add is Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle
Yes.
Obama, hands down. Being the first African-American female to be the first lady
First
of the
lady.
United States of America. And what Michelle did that inspired me more,
Mhm.
impressed me, is the fact that when she went to the White House, she did not allow anyone to define who she is.
Mhm.
She remained authentic the entire time she was there,
Mhm.
humble, but yet
Yes.
strong.
Yes.
Strong in her own rights. She had her own voice. And even today, she is still making such a huge impact for African-American females, as well as all females. But we can't separate the fact that, yes, she is African-American. And I am so proud of Michelle Obama. Love her, love her, love her, love her.
Yes. And
I
you're right. I stand corrected for forgetting to put her on the list. Yes. Sorry, Michelle Obama. Please
That's
forgive me.
okay. That's all. That's perfectly all right, because there's just so many that
So many.
we can't,
You
we
just,
can't say, we
you
can't,
can't choose
you
just
can't
one.
call
You
them
still
all.
have a whole list of people.
No, you can't. You just can't.
Yeah.
But she is the one of today for me.
Yeah.
I truly love her, and
Yes.
she represented Black women so well
Mhm.
in the White House. She
Yeah.
represented all women. Let me say that. But they were
Yes.
looking at her, judging her, evaluating her based on the color of her skin. So we cannot separate that. That is a fact. But she did it with such grace,
Such grace and elegance and
elegance.
poise. And I think
Absolutely.
the other thing that comes to mind when I think of her is her confidence and her
Mm,
authenticity. I
yes.
think you said earlier she was herself, but she
Mhm.
was always warm and friendly. But she's an educated woman, so
Yes, she
in her
is.
own right, she has her own thing going on in
Mhm.
terms of her accomplishments. And I just love that she stood beside Barack Obama, supporting him and
Yes.
everything that he did. But she was a very accomplished woman on her own. So I
All
love that.
right.
So in
Yes,
her own
I
right.
totally agree. And one of the things that you said that that triggered this thought in my mind,
Uh,
even today, she has never forgotten her roots.
Absolutely.
Not at all. Not at all. And I appreciate someone who does not forget where they
Where she
came from.
exactly where she came from.
Absolutely. And she never has. So, like I said, we could go on and on and on all day, but it's almost, like I said, the time will go so
It
fast.
just flew by. This was
It
an
did.
awesome,
It
awesome
did.
discussion.
But I have one more request. What would you like to see in the future for African American females? What would you like to see?
So, in thinking about this question, so I just finished reading this book called We Should All Be Millionaires,
Mhm.
by Rachel Rogers. And I listened to the audiobook, as a matter of fact, because I was driving, so I wanted to listen to it. But I agree wholeheartedly that I would like to see all business owners reach the seven-figure mark in their businesses. And I say this because we know that when women lead businesses, whether it's corporate America or businesses that they own, it does something to the economy, it does something to the world, we impact the community. We have such a reach. And I had read a quote, I'm probably not going to say it properly, but that when women run businesses, we're not just thinking of ourselves, we're thinking of our families, we're thinking of the neighbor, we're thinking of all the others. So I really like to see us all become seven-figure businesses and beyond, so that we can all impact those causes or those things that we really care about. And we don't always have to be all in the same area. But if your cause is hunger and mine is technology or whatever, I'm just calling some things out, that we
Right.
have means and the resources to be able to impact those areas for good.
Yes.
For our people and for others, but especially in our community. So, and then whatever
Yes.
chosen area it is, that we come together and we work together and that we flourish together. So I know that sounds like, maybe pie in the sky, but I think it's
No,
doable. We're
no,
doing it now, but I think we can take it to the next level.
I agree with you because that's what I was going to say. And that's what WomeNomics, the WomeNomics movement is all about, is helping more female entrepreneurs to generate 250,000 annually in their businesses. Because we know if we can get more women generating 250,000, then we will see more generating 1 million, the seven-figure mark, as you stated,
Yes.
LaTonya. So it's so important. And some people would say, it's all about, you all make it about money. No, we're not making it about money, but you can't live without it.
Right. It's
You,
a tool. And
it's
I
a
think if we
tool that
have
absolutely,
we're
that's
all doing well, we can impact different
absolutely,
areas of our
absolutely.
community. So
Just like,
Linda's got this side, Latanya's got this side, someone else has got
yes,
this side. Come in the middle and
how do
we can all
we
get bases covered.
bridge the gap and make an impact that is so significant that it's everlasting? That's what we want to do. And to see more women, more families have wealth and intergenerational wealth. That is
Yeah.
something that we really would love to see in the Black families. And there's nothing wrong with that, not at all. So that's why, ladies, the WomeNomics movement is here. This is it. The time is now. And the only way we're going to do this is to do it together. And together, we can make the impact. Together, we are no longer isolated. So it's time for us to unite, help one another. And I believe when women support women, we will see the world the way we would like for it to become. That's what I
Absolutely.
truly believe. So,
Absolutely.
LaTonya, before we say goodbye, there may be someone who need your help within their business. So how can you help? You've already shared how you can help them. Let them know how they can reach you if they would like to have a conversation with you, or just find out, share with you, this is what my business is, how can you help me? So share how they can reach you.
Well, thank you so much. So if you are out there and you need help in your business, whether it's a recruiting solution or outsourcing solution, or maybe there's just something within your operations that you need to talk through, please reach out to me. You can reach me through my website, ljacksonassociates.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, LaTonya M. Jackson. I post a lot of things all the time. So I'm happy to help anybody who needs that kind of help. So ljacksonassociates.com. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Oh, reach out to her. Trust me, she is excellent at what she does. And I'm not just saying it because she's here. I'm saying it because it is the truth. Okay. So As always, thank you for taking the time to view and be here with us. We appreciate you. We love you. And again, the time is now for WomeNomics. So until next time, here's to your success. Goodbye.